Good evening. Tonight we'll be discussing a practical step you can take to enhance your Wiccan practice and find your place along your Wiccan path. In Wicca, our connection to the divine is an important one. For us to be able to effectively work any form of higher magic, we must be able to connect to the divine in at least one form. The divine itself is living energy. It is the creative force in the universe, but it has no real shape, not that we can understand anyway. Connecting to the idea of living energy is difficult because it is really hard for us to see ourselves as energy, for us to see ourselves as this type of energy. It is much easier to see ourselves as one of the many aspects of the divine, or as one of the many gods and goddesses that have been worshipped around the world. The purpose of a connection to the divine is not to become the god or goddess we most closely associate with. Instead, it is to personally identify with a certain archetype of the divine, to attune ourselves with the natural rhythms of ourselves, nature, and the great divine energy all around us. Since each of us contains some part of the divine, getting in tune with this part of ourselves, with our higher self, can only be beneficial. As we connect to the divine, we are, in truth, reconnecting to that most primal part of ourselves, that part of us that still knows and believes in magic. In order to connect with this divine energy, look at the many different pantheons around the world. There is no right or wrong choice here. Decide which pantheon you most connect with. Then take a look at the gods and goddesses within that pantheon and decide which one you feel the greatest connection to. Remember that this is not a permanent decision. If you choose to change your mind later, there's nothing wrong with that. But for now, look at the pantheons, look at the different gods and goddesses, and decide which one most resonates with you. Once you have chosen, you can slowly start to incorporate that god or goddess into your Wiccan practice. You might choose to honor that god or goddess during time spent at your altar. You might decide to add something to your altar that represents that god or goddess. You might decide to do nothing at all. If you do want to begin working with this god or goddess, place the item representing your chosen god or goddess upon your altar before you continue your study of Wicca. Spend a little time each day at your altar, contemplating your connection with this god or goddess, as well as your connection to the divine as a whole. This contemplation will benefit you in the long term by opening your mind to the possibility of working with the divine, and so with your higher self. This process takes time, so do not rush it. Take all the time you need to choose a god or goddess from any pantheon you desire, and slowly incorporate that god or goddess into your Wiccan practice. Thank you for watching. Join us next week when we continue talking about Wicca, paganism, and the mythologies that are connected to both. Blessed be.